liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Good morning. It's wonderful to be in a place where we can say the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. Under God. I'll group everybody in there, but I know I do. The meeting will come to order. We do have proof of posting in accordance with Chapter 5 of the Texas Government Code as amended known as the Texas Open Meetings Act. Any members of the public who wish to speak shall have 5 minutes.
I just want to say thank you for helping the fire department. That helped us tremendously. So thank every single one of them. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it.
Thank you. What y'all do. We couldn't do it without you. Wow. We appreciate the time y'all give. It's really a labor of love. Anybody else? Glad to see you back.
Thank you. Thank y'all so much for all the prayers and support and everyone that reached out and just thought about us. And my daughter is doing much better. Every day is a little bit better. Her back is broken in 3 spots, but considering the fact that the first break is right at the base of her neck here, we're extremely blessed that she's up and walking, and that those babies were good. And so thank y'all so much for everything that y'all did.
I'll go to item number 1 to approve the minutes of the September 26th regular meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Item number 2 is budget transfers and amendments.
Make a motion to approve that. One budget amendment.
Got one?
It's just for 2019. I was gonna wait through one big thing for 2018. So as soon as we accept, we're gonna take the last invoice on 11th, and so then I'll do all of them. So, and we'll do it next quarter on
We have a
17th.
motion, did we have a second? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Item number 3. Pay bills.
$75.82.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's flashlights.
Anything tactical?
I'm looking.
I'd just be able to.
They were $119.99 a piece.
Okay.
Was that out of the general fund?
Is that a 019 Center General Fund?
Yeah.
At 575.82.
$191.
$119.99 a piece for flashlights. Sheriff's
Regular
Department.
fund too. I'm assuming that it's those.
All in favor, aye?
Any opposed? None, motion carried.
On the flashlight deal, how much were they, 100 what? 191 piece?
$119.99.
119 times, is 119 times 16, is that 1,900 something?
Yep.
Okay.
Carrying charges maybe there too.
I guess an outcome on the calculator.
All right, item number 4 is to approve payroll.
No, ma'am.
Okay, we went line through that one. Reports. Reports. District clerk for September. County clerk for September. Tax office for September. Then the sick leave pool for the quarter. Anyone else have a report?
I'm gonna turn in an hour yearly report.
All right. No others? We have a motion to accept the reports.
I make a motion to accept the report.
All in favor, aye. Any discussion on burn ban?
Burn ban?
I think we'll be all right now.
Talk about it next week. Okay. Any special road use agreements? Anyone have a road use agreement? Okay, now we'll go to item number 8, any bonds or education certificates.
I'm turning in one that shows how many hours I have and how many I carry.
All right. Any others? If not, we have a motion to accept the education.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Motion carried. Item number 9, discuss the county indigent healthcare program regarding basic and optional healthcare services.
Judge and Commissioners, what this is about is, y'all should have got a form that we printed off that looks similar to this. What this is about is we got a bill on an actual indigent patient for a care flight. And in the past, Kay told me that what we paid was all the basic health care, which is on the sheet that you received. And then every once in a while, there would be an ambulance bill that we would pay. And that comes under optional, but she said that we went ahead and paid that. So, this says ground ambulance, but apparently CareFlight falls under that also. And so we have paid, since I've been here for the 6.5 years, we have paid CareFlight on inmates when they've been CareFlight, and we paid ambulance on inmates. Karen had looked back and could not find where we've ever paid CareFlight on an actual indigent patient. And so we're just here to get some clarifications, because there's supposed to be something on file with the indigent health by y'all saying if we're only gonna pay basic with the option of picking and choosing which optional that we pay if we want to, or we can, there's a form that was provided to be filled out every year saying, okay, this is, we're only gonna do, by law, we have to do basic. And then if y'all choose to do some options, but then that puts you, where if you pick an option, you have to then provide that option, so, yeah.
I don't know that y'all have had enough time to look over this. Do you want us to table it the next week and look at the optionals, see if we want to pick certain ones or if we want to do any and kind of a little, study it a little more?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, and something else, also is that we talked to the lady at the state and, asked about, okay, so if we say this on on indigent, then how does that work for the inmates, because we run the indigent program also, and she said, we can say on, which is what we do on the inmates, we're gonna only pay at the Medicaid rate, which is what we pay the indigent at. But whatever report that the Sheriff's Department has turned into the jail commission saying what we're gonna cover on inmates, we have to follow that. So I've asked them for a copy of that, so hopefully they do that, so we can just make sure that we're, doing what we can say on that. So we'll bring that back and say, okay,
So
this is
what we do for inmates has to be the same as what we do for.
No, we can say we're only gonna do the Medicaid rate on inmates, but whatever the file they have with the jail commission saying, okay, if they say in the jail commission, report to the jail commission that we're gonna cover ambulance, then we have to cover ambulance on inmates. They say we're gonna cover care flight, we have to do that, so even if we say we're not gonna do it on the actual indigent patients, if they, in their jail commission, they say they're gonna cover that, we have to cover it on
You mean
inmates.
if the jail commission requires that we cover it?
Well, from what I read, Judge, that says they have to provide a document to the jail commission saying what they're gonna cover. So I've asked this morning if they can provide us with a
So we
copy.
just need to, does the sheriff make that decision? Let's find that all out before next time.
Okay.
Yeah, since they're not here to talk to us.
I think, Judge, before we go on, I do have one 2018 bill, which I was hoping to wrap up next week, all of our 2018. This is, the ambulance, it's $4,600. It was a $50,000 bill. But if we pay the Medicaid rate on it, it's $46,9803. Do y'all have any?
Can we retroactively say we're gonna pay it? Since it's already happened.
Can we go, are you saying can we go ahead and pay it? Or
An ambulance bill?
it's a care. It's for an indigent,
If it wasn't approved that we do the optional at the time it happened, and we go back and now say we're gonna approve these optional, and since it wasn't in place at that time, can we do that?
Yeah, you can, y'all can vote to pay this right now if you want to. You can pay it if you only select basic, and what I'm thinking, if you only select basic, and something comes along like this, and you don't select optional, you can still pay this bill.
You can pick and choose, but it just has to come before y'all to be pick and choose.
Well, under this
I
option,
think God has to think about that, because if you're gonna do it for one person, how can you do it for one person and not do it for another person?
Under this option on number 8, it says it only covers ground transportation only for medical necessary, life-threatening conditions. I hadn't seen aerial or care flight. Even under the option.
And like I said, as far as an actual indigent person, I have not seen since I've been here, we haven't had any ambulance or care flight that I can recall on an actual indigent patient, but we have had numerous of those on inmates under the indigent care, and we have paid those, so.
So I'm missing the
I
amount.
believe.
What was that?
$4,698.
Oh, 4,600, I thought it was 46,000.
Actual bill
The
was.
actual bill was.
The bill was $50,000.
Again, we only pay the Medicaid rate, so we look it up, actually, on
person was in jail and then got cared for.
Not this one.
Just indigent, just a citizen.
A part of the indigent program.
Oh.
Healthcare.
Okay.
So I think we need to think about it, we'll probably talk about it. Sorry. All right, do you have a motion to table?
I make a motion that we take.
Have a second, all in favor, aye? Item number 10, presentation from Dave Fowler of the Fairfield Economic Development Corporation regarding the exemption of Freeport goods. Yes, sir.
Does everybody, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be here today. Does everybody have a handout in their packet? Before I get into this, first of all, this is just a discussion and a presentation. I'm certainly not asking for any action or anything. Just want to talk to you guys about this to start with, kind of catch you up to speed and let you know what I know about this. But before I do, I'd like to tell you a little bit about what we're doing at the Fairfield Economic Development Corporation. Our office is right over there in the corner. I'm the director there. My budget comes from the city of Fairfield. I get a quarter of the sales and use tax the city of Fairfield brings in as my budget to work with. My job and our job over there as a Type A Economic Development Corporation is to bring in primary jobs to Fairfield and the Freestone County area. And we're supposed to work in Fairfield, and within 2 miles of Fairfield is because it's sales tax money from the city of Fairfield. I am allowed to go out into the county and do projects. I have to come to you all and ask your permission to do that. So I'll be glad to do that if something comes up. We're actively working right now to open up 125 acres out of the industrial park. Over a year ago, we purchased 75 acres off the old Mahia Road, Freestone County Road 946. It's about a half a mile down there. It's going to open 125 acres. We've already put it out for bids and have a contractor that was awarded the bid, 5T Utilities from Huntsville. And they're going to we're having a pre-construction meeting tomorrow. And so they ought to be getting started real soon. We're going to put in a new street, water, sewer, electricity. It's going to open up some good industrial use out there. We've already annexed it in the city of Fairfield. Saying all that and bring you up to speed on what I'm presenting here today. We are, Fairfield's in competition and Freestone County's in competition to attract business here. You know, I'm talking about industry jobs. We don't do retail. So, but we do need jobs here in Fairfield and the greater Freestone County area. So we realize that. And one of the things, by having the industrial park land out there, we can offer land to either sell, trade, give, grant, whatever we need to do to bring a business here. Since we are in competition, one of the things now that's pretty big in the industrial and business world is what's called a Freeport exemption. Freeport goods are items of inventory that a business would have in their inventory that they're putting together, assembling, manufacturing. I'll give you an example. Let's say a heavy equipment operator from overseas. If they have a distribution center here in, say, Texas, they receive the equipment from the port. It comes in crates. It's in pieces for shipment. They get it in the warehouse and they put it all together. So they put that piece of equipment together and they ship it out all over Texas and all over the United States. Okay, so the parts of it that ship out of state could be eligible for that Freeport exemption. But when you're talking about a large quantity of inventory, that's a lot of money. And so one of the tools that's available out there is for the communities to offer a Freeport exemption to attract those industries to come here, build a warehouse, manufacture and process something here at Fairfield, create the jobs here, because that's an incentive to entice them to come. If you all notice up at Ferris, Wilmer Hutchins up that way, all the warehousing going up there, I mean, they are next to the UP Intermodal facility there, but they're also offering a triple Freeport exemption up there. And it's highly attractive to come there because of that exemption. So to kind of catch you up to speed where we are, the city of Fairfield has has exempted Freeport goods for inside the city of Fairfield. I've already gone to see the Fairfield Independent School District about it. I'm back on their agenda next week, and I think they're going to potentially vote for it in November. One of the things I had to do for them was I've got a list in there for you all, but I had to make them a list of, well, how could this potentially affect us if it goes into place? And so I with the help of Don Awald, Bud Black, we've come up with a list of that. So what I'm here to do today is to talk to you about this tool. When you get a city, a county, and a school district that exempts the Freeport goods in an area, it's called a triple Freeport. When you use those words in economic development, you advertise triple Freeport, that's what gets everybody's attention, because they realize that all three taxing entities, which are the largest ones, will offer that exemption. Now, it's not easy to get. So it's not like your homestead exemption. You fill out one page, you send it in and say, I live there, and automatically you get it. It's only for goods that are manufactured, and it's not oil and gas. It can't be oil, gas, or petroleum. It's only things that are assembled, manufactured, put together, and they're going to go out of the state of Texas within 175 days or less. So it's real picky. It's real particular. So it's people that are purely manufacturing, assembling something, and shipping this stuff out all over the country or even the world. So that's a good thing. Those are some good quality jobs and some good businesses that build really big buildings. It doesn't affect, if they were granted this exemption, it's only that portion of the inventory. It does not affect the building. It does not affect the machinery inside. They're still going to pay taxes on all that. They're still going to do all that. It's just this inventory. The application they would fill out is you can only fill it out between January and April, much like your homestead, much like your ag exemptions, January to April. They have to turn it into Bud Black down there. He gets financials and he gets inventories, and he goes out and inspects that business. So it's not a real easy thing to do, but if you qualify, it's a real good exemption. So there's a lot of checks and balances in place there, which is good. So, but anyway, if you want to. Does anybody have any questions so far? And I'll run down through this handout real quick, and I'll leave this with you. And certainly after it's all over with, you can call and talk to me. I'll tell you about some neighbors in the other counties that's got this in place. You might want to, if you want to ask some questions, certainly, and find out how this affects you. But on this handout, the Freeport exemption, I think I've explained that to you, is any goods that are it's inventory that's going to be shipped out of state within 175 days or less. And it's only items that are being manufactured and put together. In 1989, the state legislature passed a constitutional amendment that exempted all Freeport goods. However, every taxing authority back then had the option to go ahead and tax it if they wanted to. Freestone County in 1989 voted to tax Freeport goods, much like most everybody did, because people didn't, really, it was all new, they didn't understand it. They could always change it, so they taxed it. So there's a copy of the resolution in your packet where the commissioners voted to tax that. So there's another exemption called a goods in transit exemption. It's similar to the Freeport, but it has to do with items that are shipped within Texas, and you can't own those items. You're holding them in a public warehouse for somebody else. We don't have anybody in this county that does that. You all have already exempted goods in transit from 2011, so it's really not an issue there, but I wanted to throw that in there and let you know. So you do currently tax Freeport, but not goods in transit. I explained to you how the business receives a Freeport exemption. They've got to fill out an application with the appraisal district. If you'll notice, the other entities in the county that offer the Freeport exemption and the goods in transit exemption are City of Fairfield, Fairfield Hospital District, Tig Hospital District, City of Wortham. All have exempted Freeport, and City of Fairfield, City of Tig, City of Streetman, City of Wortham, Buffalo ISD, Wortham ISD, Oakwood ISD have exempted goods. So there are quite a few that has already exempted some of these things. So kind of just wrapping it all up to summarize that what the Freeport exemption would mean for us, for me, and for this community would be that we could use that as a tool to attract some business here that we don't have. We particularly don't have that would benefit us greatly. So In the handout, you have a copy of the resolution from 1989. In the handouts, you have a list. The very last page is a list of companies. Because I got this question from the Fairfield ISD. They said, all right, David, if we pass this thing, how's it going to affect us, you know, in January when someone starts to apply? Who could potentially apply right now and be qualified? So I made you a list also. And I put the net, I've got the net taxable value, and I've also got the tax as if they were qualified for 100%. Well, no one.
Is that total tax or just the county part?
That's just the county. It's just the county. Fairfield School District, their list looked a little different because some of these businesses are out in the county and they're not in the ISD. Theirs was about $37,000 is what theirs was. This is an assumption. You know, I have no way of knowing exactly how much inventory could apply, but 100% certainly wouldn't be eligible, but I don't have any way to figure that out. So I have to show you 100%. I have to show you a worst case scenario. That's what I think I need to do. But I've talked to Bud and Don, and they don't seem to believe that anyone would be 100% eligible because everything they got in there, they're not going to ship out. Part of that is raw goods that they're actually putting, you know, using to do what they're doing. I will tell you, there's quite a few chemical companies I've listed on here, and I don't believe for 1 minute that they ship out of state. But I had to include them because I have to be fair and say that Baker Hughes in the industrial park has applied for the exemption. They have not been able to get it because we haven't offered up until the city of Fairfield passed it. Baker Hughes does ship out of state. They ship chemicals out of state. So I went ahead and included these other chemical companies, but I'm not sure about that, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. I want to try to be truthful to you and report to you as much as I can. Anyway, we've got industries in Fairfield, we've got industries in Tigg, near Oakwood, Wortham. We've got a little bit everywhere, but the only people that's ever attempted to apply for it is Baker Hughes. So, but I'd like to also tell you that now is a good time to enact something like this because it's good news and it's bad news. The bad news is we don't have 20 companies in town that's producing these type of things. That's the bad news. The good news is we don't have 20 companies in town, so when you enact something like this, you're not going to get hit January the 1st with 15 or 20 applications for an exemption that's going to potentially bring down your tax base. So over in Henderson County, they just passed, they passed a triple free port. The county approved it, the school district finally approved it just recently. And in Henderson County, there was 11 companies that could apply for it. It was going to cost them $1.1 million. So what the EDC director over there did was go to those companies and get what's called a pilot agreement, payment in lieu of taxes, and make this agreement where it kind of weans them into the exemption over 5 years, so that when you passed it over there, you didn't get this big hit. You know, fortunately here, we don't have those type of companies here, but we want to get those type of companies because they do a lot of medical manufacturing over in Henderson County and Athens. There's quite a few things they do over there.
David, it's 24,000. How many of these companies on our list would qualify? Do you know?
Not for sure. I'll tell you how I got the list by looking at the category code is L2C. I was told by the appraisal district, if you have anything in that category, it could be eligible. But anything besides that, it's not going to be. And then historically, I know that Baker Hughes has applied. And so, to be truthful, no one else has applied. And I'm not 100% sure every one of these is eligible. But without diving real deep into it, you know, without doing just calling the company up, I just list them here and say this could be the worst case scenario. I don't believe it's going to be that. I don't believe every one of these on January 1 is going to apply for this exemption. And if any of them apply for it, I don't believe it's going to be the 100% value of that inventory. And neither does the present district, just based on our conversation. But I've got to show you a number.
Yeah.
And I can show you a worst case number because I want to be truthful about it. But I don't really believe that's going to be the total, the full number. I think it's going to be, potentially be less. I look for Baker Hughes to apply, but if you'll notice, Baker Hughes only has $276,000 worth of net value, and that would be $992 at 100%. So.
Right.
Discussion.
Sounds good to me, yeah, great job.
So what I'd like to do is leave this with you. Certainly, you're welcome to call me or ask me some more questions. If you need some more information, I'll be glad to go and pull that for you. I'd like to come see you in the future, hopefully in about 30 days or so. I'd like you to consider it. I certainly know you have to have time to process it all. This is the first time you've heard about it. Please, by all means, ask questions, or if I can do something for you to help you with some information, let me know. And our goal is to try to bring some business and industry here, create some jobs, because we need it. There's no doubt about that. So we are running some pretty good leads right now. I can't really say we are. I've been in talks with companies from out of town and out of the country. We're getting some interest, especially since we got some industrial park land that's going to be available. So we're trying hard every day to bring something here. So anyway, I appreciate your time and consideration. Thank you.
Would you like to have this able for the next everybody to read this and think about it? And do you have a sample resolution as you did?
As a matter of fact, I had one drafted. I did. I was very optimistic, and I didn't bring it with me, but
All right.
actually,
Do
it's
we have a motion to table?
I'll make a motion, we take it.
All in favor, aye? If you want to give that resolution to Brian, let him look it over, and then we can talk about it next week.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
This sample we have is not it.
That was,
Just the whole-
all the goods and transit, I believe. Item number 11, Accurate Safety Bind Service Agreement. This is something we do every year. The bind is the victim notification service. It is a computer program that automatically notifies the victims when the defendant that caused this action is going to be released. It notifies the victim of the release, so they will be prepared. The Attorney General pays for this program, and we used to get the money, then have to pay them, but now they pay them directly. We just have to enter into this service agreement saying that we will provide that service, and it's already automatically on. Thank you. All in favor, aye? Motion carried. Item number 12 is to approve the Doggett Machinery Service Power Plan credit line for county purchases. And this is a county, this is a credit line for a company that you want to do business with to buy parts for your equipment.
Out of Weather Airport.
Do we have a motion to approve this credit line and also to authorize Andy to sign the application, because it has to be signed in Tyler in front of their.
I'll make that motion and give it
Thank you.
That's
Did it say
it.
stay there or just go to Tyler? We have a motion and thought to enter, to approve this credit line and to allow Andy to sign the credit line paperwork. Is there a second? A lot of seconds. All right, all in favor, aye?